And now, the general weather around Alaska.
Hi everyone, welcome to Alaska Weather. I'm meteorologist Peter Chan, coming to you from the National Weather Service in Alaska region on this Monday, April 7th, 2025. And the headlines, at least weather related here for Alaska, continues to be this circulation in the mid-upper levels of the atmosphere, whereby the surface low pressures are just kind of circulating around this low pressure over the North Pacific into the Gulf. And it's going to bring periods of coastal rain, mountain snows, along with some winds along the Gulf Coast into the Panhandle this week in through the upcoming weekend. And this is going to result in below normal temperatures, especially through mid-April along western areas of the state, especially along the west coast eastern Bering. And this will also tend to bring above normal precipitation into southern Alaska and down through the Panhandle, especially with a system that's going to take shape for the weekend. But in the meantime, we are going to be watching a few areas of low pressure rotating around the Gulf that are going to bring some waves of rain and snow along south central areas back in through the Panhandle. Now, way to the north, Utqiagvik, sunny and clear, 9 below zero was the air temperature as of 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Atkasuk had the state's low temperature this morning of 21 below. Meanwhile, in Anchorage, put an extra E there, light snow and fog, 30 degrees, about an inch of accumulation as of this morning, with additional snowfall possible through midweek. Could be additional 1 to 3 inches of snow a couple of times, so it could end up being potentially around 6, even 8 inches of snow total, but this time of year it has a tendency to melt and settle as it falls. Eagle enjoying mostly cloudy skies, temperature up near 50 there along the Alcan border. That's one of the last vestiges of mild temperatures, at least over the mainland. Then down at Edna Bay and the Panhandle, rain showers and fog, 45 degrees, and periods of rain showers and rain will be the case there, being enhanced tonight by another front or trough that'll be pushing up into the Panhandle as a rather showery situation continues there on and off throughout this week. Now, talked about the river breakup. The thing is, we have likely that temperatures are going to average below normal, especially across the west side of the state into parts of the interior. There is an above average potential for river breakup. We're talking about ice jam flooding and then snowmelt flooding in through the central rivers, the Yukon, Tanana, Koyukuk, and some of the North Slope basins due to the higher than normal snowpack that exists there. Some areas have seen 150 to nearly 200% of normal snowpack in those areas from the snowfall we've seen over the winter. Now, below average potential for the river breakup being significant in the lower Yukon and Kuskokwim River Basin, and then over most of south central, even though we're getting some late season snow across areas of south central, because overall the snowpack has been quite low compared to the previous two winters, and also because we had such a mild winter across south central this year. So on the hazards weather map, we do not have any current watches, warnings, or advisories in effect, at least as of mid-afternoon Monday. We do, though, when it comes to avalanche concerns, there is a considerable a considerable avalanche risk here. Eastern Kenai Mountains here, for Turnagain Pass down through Summit Lake and Moose Pass, but those would be the areas that have the greatest threat for avalanche, and that danger could creep upward, possibly reaching high this week, just because we're getting additional waves of wet snow and rain coming in across this area, Prince William Sound and the eastern Kenai. So again, if you're thinking about any backcountry snow machining and skiing in those areas that tend to happen in the spring, be very, very careful and stay tuned. Go to the Avalanche Information Center for the latest advisories as to what conditions may be like and expected. Now, across the area today, there's a low pressure here, another system just kind of pulling inland across south central along Prince William Sound, eastern Kenai into the Anchorage Bowl. We have another push of moisture coming northward across the Panhandle, which will serve to enhance the areas of rain or rain showers at sea level, and then wet snow in through the mid and upper elevations of the mountains. Meanwhile, to the west, there's a cold pocket of air up here, And there's one piece of it has broken loose. There's a weak low with snow showers currently moving through Nunavik Island, Etolan Strait. That'll cut across Kuskokwim Bay between there and the Pribilovs and down across Bristol Bay, the Alaska Peninsula. By the time we get into very early Tuesday morning and then during the day Tuesday, sweeping southeastward into the North Pacific. But overall, the main circulation is the one that's right here. That feature will persist all week long into next weekend with a stronger system taking shape. I'll show you hints of that coming up here in just a moment on the surface maps. But late tonight and into the day on Tuesday, we're going to see an enhancement of showers and rain along the panhandle tonight into Tuesday morning as this weakening occluded front becomes more of a trough and then just rotates back to the north and west. We have an inverted trough that just is kind of sitting up over the east portion of the mainland with some patchy area of snow or snow showers. And then here's that shot of colder air dropping southeastward across the Alaska Peninsula, and that's going to have gusty winds and snow showers as it passes through the Alaska Peninsula and eastern Aleutians. And then that reflection, the surface reflection of that cold pocket of air up over the Chukchi Sea and the upper level low that's located in that region by Tuesday afternoon, that feature's still kind of hanging up there. There you can see the energy that came out of Nunavik Island today is going to be crossing into the North Pacific across the Alaska Peninsula. We have along the panhandle just this lingering trough that will be a focus for rain showers at sea level, and then the intercoastal mountains all along the Gulf Coast into the inner channels of the panhandle having the potential for some snow showers of areas of mainly light snow. And then on Wednesday, those features kind of weaken, but we still have a persistent at the surface, an area of low pressure southeast of Kodiak Island, but the reflection there higher aloft in the mid-levels, this broader circulation continues. And then by the time we get into Thursday, there's going to be another shot of cold air come loose here from eastern Russia and begin to drop southeastward. That will swing across the Alaska Peninsula as we get into late Friday night and Saturday and to set the stage for a stronger low to try and spin up on the North Pacific side of the Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island by Saturday, which will have impacts for the weekend. That'll bring another front with a lot more moisture and wind up along the entire Gulf Coast and into the Panhandle. But looking at temperatures tonight, generally readings stay above freezing near 40 southern Panhandle at Klawak and on over toward Mount Lakatla. Cold up here, though, across areas of the Arctic coast, North Slope especially. Could see some readings back down near 20 below. And that cold air has come down even south of the Yukon River, the upper Kuskokwim around McGrath, 2 below zero there. And even temperatures here in south central, because we do have some areas of snow falling. There is the potential for some additional snowfall Anchorage Bowl tonight and into the day Tuesday and into Wednesday. There's just going to be some periods of on again, off again, light to maybe even moderate snow. So look for the snow to accumulate in portions of south central as a result of that moisture being pulled back to the north and west. Temperatures are also below freezing here out along the Alaska Peninsula into the Pribilovs, only 24 for a low there at St. Paul. Daytime highs Tuesday afternoon, getting back up into the mid-40s, 46 there at Eagle along the Alcan border. That'll be one of the warmer readings, at least for the mainland. And then back here across the Panhandle, highs generally in the 40s. Could see an isolated 50-degree reading, especially outer areas, Prince of Wales Island up to Sitka. Maybe trying to hit 40, depending if there's a couple more inches of snow around areas of south central, that could cap it in the 30s. And then highs single digits above zero across the North Slope Arctic coast into the north side of the Seward Peninsula. And low temperatures Wednesday morning, again, back down below zero. There could be some 15 below readings up here through the western North Slope. And as we look down to the south, generally above freezing in the Panhandle, and still getting a bit below freezing in areas of south central, especially as you get up from Anchorage northward up into the Susitna Valley. So watch out for some icy spots on the roads, especially if any snow has fallen or roads have been wet. And then high temperatures Wednesday afternoon. We're still retaining some 40s here along the Alcan border at Eagle, Northway, and certainly down through the Panhandle, 40s for highs on Wednesday afternoon with maybe a 50-degree reading here or there. And back to the west, slight moderation in temperatures, but not much. This cold air, this pocket where daytime highs do not get above 10 degrees, that pocket of cold air will reside up until about Friday, and then we'll see a shot of that dropping again, taking a similar track across the eastern Bering and west side of the state before it links up with a system. Again, that circulation in the mid-levels of the atmosphere, that'll spin up a stronger low here by the early weekend in this region of the North Pacific, on the North Pacific side of the Alaska Peninsula and Kodiak Island. So when you have that kind of thing here, and this is the outlook now through mid-month, centered on April 15th, we're going to have this circulation here over the Western Gulf and North Pacific. That tends to bring moisture north and then northwestward. So you have a southeast southerly flow into the Panhandle, into South Central. Some of that moisture crosses the Alaska Range, so it can ride farther north. Meanwhile, we have the colder air coming down on more of a northerly flow on the west side of the state and across the eastern Bering. So we expect below normal temperatures here through mid-month along the west coast. The YK Deltas, Kuskokwim, Bristol Bay, and into the Alaska Peninsula, eastern Aleutians. Precipitation, though, will likely average above normal, and this could include some late season snowfall on top of what we get this week in areas of South Central, especially around Prince William Sound. The Chugach Mountains, the Talkeetna Mountains could pick up some additional snowfall. And some of that moisture may ride all the way northward up through the central Yukon Valley and the Brooks Range all the way to the Arctic coast, but also the potential for precipitation to average a bit above normal here, especially across the Panhandle. So that's how things are looking now as we get through the next mid-month period. No real big warm-ups showing up at any time soon, so that'll tend to delay any onset of the early river breakup season.